Okay, let's get started on the wiring on this bike. This is the part that everybody hates, but we're going to make it fun because, it's not really that bad. So anyway, now this is kind of a pre-wiring video. This will apply to the United States and the overseas market on the signal lights. So anyway, let me show you what we need to do to get started here. Okay, now the first thing we want to do, and this is for reference only, is I'm sure you've probably done this already, but to unplug the rectifier, you just push this little knob here on the white connector and just rock it back and forth and it will unplug itself there. So I thought I'd better tell you that, and then I'll show you where to cut these rear wires off. Okay, we're going to cut the wires on the back of the bike here, so whatever you do, we're going to leave this big connector on there. So if we follow these wires down, this is on the rear of the bike. What we're going to do is we're going to cut all these wires off and get rid of all these connectors here. So basically what you want to do is grab hold of them all, and what we'll do is we'll cut them just behind the last of the two connectors here. So just go ahead and snip them off there. About there is fine. Okay, now we're ready to route these wires. What we want to do is we want to route this main wire up and just wire tie it right there, and then we're going to exit out so we can put that big connector on the outside of the bike on the other side. I'll show you that in a minute. So what we want to do is we want to route this up here. Now you can go ahead and bend these back and forth and kind of soften them up, because mine were really stiff because it's an older bike. So once you kind of bend them around and get them softened up, they'll bend in easier. And then there was one other wire that I had to take a connector off here to run to the other side, but I noticed our older bike doesn't have that. So the main thing we want to do is get this cleaned up in here so we can have room to run the rest of our wires. So anyway, go ahead and wire tie that up right here. And then what we'll do is I'll show you the other side. This is the other side, so it ran from on the other side here. It runs underneath and on the outside of the gusset, and then just loop it around there. And then let's wire tie it right here. Now the main thing you want to do is make sure that the side cover still goes on there. It doesn't interfere. Looks like that clears just fine there. So make sure that little tab on your side cover doesn't hit that right there. So anyway, loop that around. Loop that around there. Let's wire tie it here. And then this is the big connector. So that way it's kind of out of the way. And this is the main wires. This is the end that you just cut down here. And then you can see how that loops around there on the coming out from the rectifier. So just go ahead and have it there. That's fine because it's not going to go anywhere, so that should be good. And then what we'll do is we'll run the wires, these wires, we're going to run those under here and into this compartment. I'll show you that. And there you have the wires coming up into the compartment there. Now ignore these ends for right now because I've put those on ahead of time, but go ahead and then if you want to go ahead and strip this insulation back about 4 inches so you expose all those wires like that, that would be great. And then we'll go ahead and get started depending on which bike you have or which style of lighting you do. So if you're in America, you can use the running light section, and then if you're in the European countries or Australia, you may have to go the non-running, just signal light only. So you may want to check with your local laws on that before you get started.